it's in Malam countryside, past 1 to 1 3. Often this is the countryside. Actually, I was born and grew up in the countryside. So I spent 20 years living, 18 years living in the countryside. So it's very needed for me because I live a long time, and it's I like to living in rural area because it made me less get closer to nature, enjoy the fresh air and the quiet place, as a peaceful place. To If so, who do you visit in the countryside? When I go to visit some countryside, I think I will go with my mom and my family because my family like countryside, because everything is quite peaceful, and I think that other people they had tend to like living or go or place or living. I think they have tend to like some quiet play. It don't have a noise from vehicle or from is don't have a vehicle or noise from a big city. My parents and my family or sometimes visit the countryside to change atmosphere because we can stay away from the hustle and bustle of the big city. And sometimes I also born with my friend. It's also the way to bond with my friend because we can go to campaign in the countryside. Therese, would you like to living in the countryside in the future? Well, I think that I a big fan of nature. I love nature, but I have lived here for 18 years ago. 18 years, so it's very family with me. So sometimes I'm boring. So I want to living in the big city. To have opportunities to develop my career path. Yes. And now I'm young, so I want to earn money. In the big city have more, and also in the big city has have this a lot of facility for the entertainment. So I like to live in the big city. But maybe in the future when I'm older, I will move on to countryside to enjoy the old life. I think it's a play very suitable for the elderly people, old people. Yes. For half area of the countryside in your country changed since you were a child. Well, yes. I think that it had a big change. Since I was a kid. Now in the in the park we don't have a lot of people living in the countryside. There's some some small family, and also that the transportation is not good, and we don't have a lot of facility for entertainment like restaurant or cinema or supermarket. We have some small markets. But now I think everything will change because now have the number of low screen fields are graduates converted to plant or factories, and so on. And many facilities are built like high complex building or facility for entertainment. And in my country they have a lot of tourist areas spring up, so my city has become more popular more than in the past. Fine. Do you think that visits to the countryside should be something that school offer to the children? Well, I think um, visits, I think that take children on excursion to countryside. Well, I think that it's very helpful for children, because when you move in the new area, you can have the you have it's a great way for them to to get closer inside into something, like about the nature and animals. A lot of things they don't a lot of thing is instead of being glued to the computer screen, because well, I know that some children um um they don't have no see real animal, yes, in the real life. Just see through the television or picture. Yeah, so you know um, when the children go to the countryside, they can have this can bring a lot of knowledge and information for the children. This help the children both on can have children open the window. Yeah, and also have to have it do outdoor activity, which is avoid sedentary lifestyle. Yeah. Apart trees, one other advantage of living in the countryside, well, I think that is several health and financial benefit. When you live in a rural area, at first about the health, you can have a chance to enjoy the fresh air, fresh air, and pollution-free air in the countryside, rather than a big city, because while in the big city have a lot of vehicle, a lot of people, so the pollution is very high. Yeah, in the big city, also that you can feel, and also in the big city have a traffic jam, which is very traffic jam. Yeah, and also some dirt from the vehicle can make you have some problem like lungs related disease. Yeah, very dangerous for health people. And also that you can have a chance to eat green, eat fruit healthy, because while in the countryside almost the people is are farmers, so they blend cheese, they blend food, and they buy they purchase in the market, so people can and eat the food with health, we take care, we don't have the toxic in that. And also the cost of the product is also cheaper than the big city. Yeah, when you are and you don't have to financial structure when it comes to the daily expense as a compared to city dweller. Yeah. To what are the difference of living in the countryside? Well, besides the advantage when you're living in the countryside, it also has the advantage of the living in the countryside. Well, I can say that the younger, they don't have the facility, they don't have the chance opportunity to have a job, to earn living, because the countryside is very small and don't develop like big city. Yeah, so nowadays young people have a tend to move to a big city rather than stay in the countryside. Yeah, and besides that, the the entertainment in the countryside is so very boring because it's very difficult to find a shopping mall or a cinema in the countryside. Yeah, so I think when you live in the countryside, you you don't have the chance to entertainment. Yeah, it's also defensive for people when they living in the countryside. Yeah. Dries, what kind of people live in the countryside? Well, I think that the people, the types of people there who are interested in the living in rural area. I think that the old elderly people or family have, or the people have the the people retire. Yeah, so they want to they move to they move to the countryside because they don't want to live in the fast-paced environment in the big city anymore. And they don't want to put themselves under great pressure. Wow, because when you live in the big city, you need to competition competitive with people to earn money. Yeah, but now when you live in the countryside, everything will cheaper, and you don't need to structure with the financial. Yeah, and you can have the a quiet place to enjoy, to release the fresh air and the quiet, the peaceful atmosphere. Yes, and you can get closer to nature. For how has life changed over time in the countryside? Yes, of course, that the countryside have gone through a number of major change during the past few decades. I think that the family had they can access the technology to develop the agriculture, because it can have more product, and have the people avoid getting struck in sweat now because they don't need to work by hand. They have the computer to do this, having technologies, and also it's increased productivity. Yeah. And besides that, nowadays, countryside is facing smashing rural to urban migration because that young people want, or some people want to make money. They move to the big city because in the big city have the more opportunity to develop and have more job. People can choose. Yeah, yes, it's so now in the countryside, so just is a play for old people and children.